Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to that Flavor in Your Ear podcast, a.k.a. Fire Show. Today, we got another special guest, the second half of La Jama. We had Chef Frankie here, and we didn't have SoFlaa here the first time because we wanted them to share their own individual stories, right? They're an entity, they're a partnership, they're a big-time friendship, but it's important that we get both sides of their individual stories, their grind, their hustle. SoFlaa, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. I like that fire.
Well,
y'all got that fire.
We got that fire. That's
I
how
like that.
We need to emphasize it more sometimes.
Yeah, you got to say it like that too. When you say it, you got to, you know,
with some conviction. Yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it La Jama style. How you guys do it? I got to get more of that personality out there.
You got it, man. You got it. You just got to commit to the role. That's what it is.
Little by little. So this is how I want to start it, and I'll give you the basis.
Well, hold on. Before we start, okay. Can we at least do a little cheers?
Absolutely.
You know, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And representing La Jama and that fire. Oh,
it's fresh.
This water is amazing.
It is pretty much a lot of water, though. So this is a podcast of like inspiration, right? Motivation, something that lets people know, like people that are doing amazing things in their career paths. They're entrepreneurs that decided to work for themselves. And we had Frankie here. He talked a lot about, and how I want to start it is Frankie talked a lot about how you guys started back in the day, and that taught him a lot. Music.
Yes.
How that taught him his independent grind. How to the hustle behind promoting it. Making the T-shirts and promoting the music and getting out there, and that prepared him a lot for the grind that he's in. In the chef industry, in the cooking industry, La Jama TV with the food truck and all that. Yep. So I want to hear your side of the music situation. I know he talked about his side, promoting in the Grove and all that stuff. So I want to hear what how do you feel about those times? Like how did they get you ready, and do you miss that? You miss the music making and all that?
I call it Escuelita.
Okay.
Right. And everybody has to go to their Escuelita. And that was Escuelita for me and Frankie. Right. That was school for those of you that don't speak Spanish. But
right.
Yeah, it was just school for us, man. Like in those days, there was no social media like there is now. There was no platforms. There was no anything. And if you wanted to make something happen, you had to go make it happen.
On your own, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And even back then, like if you was an MC, like you had to be certified in the streets.
Right.
It's not like today where like, excuse me, like today, like, I don't know, like, I mean, I'm not trying to get like controversial, like right off rip, but like, damn, you got like a rat in the game. Right. Like that would have never flown in our days because you had to be certified. You know what I mean? Like,
that's some street cred.
You had to have the street cred, and then you had to put in the work, right? Like there was nothing else to show for it. So, it was Escuelita, and I think it taught Frankie and I, it taught us how to organize. It taught us how to set goals and reach them. Right. I think that's a big problem nowadays. I see a lot of people talking about stuff, and it's always a lot of talk. Very rarely you find somebody that talks about some shit and
does it,
and then goes and does it. And we come from that. We had no choice but to do that all the time. So I think here we are, fast forward 15 years later, and I don't know. It's just part of our DNA at this point.
Yeah. Talk to me about. He talked to us about it, like just going to the Grove, promote. I think you talked about the camouflage car you guys had.
We had a big old yellow station wagon. It was a 1973 Impala station wagon. It had 22s, and it had my face and my partner's face on the side. This was like when car wrapping was new, so we wrapped donks.
Okay, yeah,
and we put rims on them, and then we had a 71, which was called the Ghost, and it had some white flames on the side and the 22-inch haters, and that had the SoFlaa Kings like logos on it. And then we would go to all these places and basically sell our CDs. Hand-to-hand combat style. That's what I would call it. Definitely in those days, although it was a collective, I definitely played a leadership role in my clique. I've always kind of played that role. And just what we did was we decided where we were going to go and where we were going to sell these CDs and where we thought our demographic was, right? So since we were into the cars, we'd go to car shows.
Right.
We'd end up in the Plantation car show like on Thursday night, and then on Friday night we were at the other one, and then...
And you guys had the CDs?
And we had the CDs, hand-to-hand combat. And I trained my guys to sell CDs.
Yeah.
I don't know if Frankie I don't know how much detail he went into, but we basically collectively decided to quit our jobs and sell CDs for a living.
About that,
yeah. So and that was a big step for us, and we did that for I want to say about a year.
Right.
I think our official number was like 70-something thousand
Right.
CDs plus the promo stuff. It all came out to about 100,000 CDs that year. And all these guys got paid a paycheck every Friday. So that was your job, right? You had to show up to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We sold CDs, partied with chicks, you know, drank beer, had a great time, and you made money at the end of the week. You know, unfortunately, you know, through differences of the people within, you know, shit happened. It didn't really work out, but Frankie and I just kind of stayed being creative and branched out from there.
And that's what he talked about. Yeah. Just how being a creative there helped him in other avenues.
100%. Yeah. You know, it teaches you the art of collaboration.
Right.
You know, there's this common misconception that I think a lot of people have is like, oh, self-made. I hear this self-made shit all the time. I'm self-made, you know, to a certain extent, but when you really think about it, we're not. None of us are. I don't care how successful you are. It took a team of people to get you there, right? And it took collaboration. So I'm a true fan of collaboration. Me and you getting together, coming up with an idea, you executing one part, me doing the other, him doing the other, and before you know, we've created something together.
Exactly, yeah.
You know? So I think I come from that school, and it was just easy for me to just kind of evolve, right? Because I went from the whole music stuff, and then you know, before everybody was really having music videos and stuff like that done here, there was only like 2 or 3 directors in Miami.
Did you guys shoot music videos?
Yes, 100%.
Is that what like got you into the directing and the filming? Like,
yes.
That's kind of like what sparked that?
Well, so like I was saying, like back then there was no, like nobody had cameras. You couldn't just say, hey, let's go shoot a video today. Like your phone couldn't shoot a video like that. Right. So there was very few people that actually were directors. And one of those guys was a guy by the name of Jokes Yanez.
Okay.
Great director.
Miami guy?
Yeah, Miami guy, great director, directed some of the greatest, earliest, you know, hip hop videos. And we were basically his guinea pigs, right? So when Jokes wanted to shoot a video, like let's say he shot a video for a client and the video was on Friday, so he rented all the gear Friday morning. He didn't have to turn it in until Monday.
Okay.
So he called us Thursday night, yo, I'm shooting a video tomorrow, but I gotta turn in the gear Monday. You guys want to shoot a video?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And so I think that was part of
why I was just going to like the streets and like picking out like landmarks, locations.
Yeah. If you go on YouTube and you look up SoFlaa Kings, like SoFlaa, like South Florida, SoFlaa.
We'll put it in the description box. Right?
Yeah, you'll see like Mi Bandera, which I don't know, has a couple 100,000 views or whatever. But back then that was a big deal to get 30, 40,000 views on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Right. And nobody had videos, so we had no competition. Yeah. In that sense, the only guys that were doing better than us were the guys that were signed, right? Like Pitbull, Rick Ross. Those guys were already signed, so they obviously had bigger budgets. Yeah. But, you know, whatever was left over from their budgets apparently, you know, helped us.
Hey, sometimes, you know, you got to take what you can get.
Yeah.
And so
I think that was pretty cool because I was, you know, when I really think about it, I was a guinea pig. We were guinea pigs, not only for Jokes, but we were guinea pigs for Dave Rousseau, who was, you know, Pitbull's music video director for a long time. Even a guy like Mike Garcia, the director right now, who just won a VMA with like the Machine Gun Kelly song. You know, he's a local guy from Miami, from Kendall. And we all kind of all grew up together. And for a long time, you know, me, Frankie, and the guys, we were the guinea pigs. Yeah. So I think it was a natural evolution for me to just go into film at that point. Because I was kind of around it already, you know.
Now, so that's a good segue to get into how you got into being a director. Like what was that first? Were you just messing around at the house, little small gigs here or there? Like how did the gig one start? Like how did that come around? Like he was like, yo, I can do that. Did you offer it to somebody? Did somebody say, you know what, you should? Oh, there's got to be a good story behind this because the fact that you're laughing.
My daughter's here, so this is.
It's PG?
This is not PG? Great. This is great. So, first real director gig. Little context. I was in the studio. Shout out to my dog Libra. 5-star everything. 17 Trey Entertainment. We were in the studio. We had this idea. Coño, let's buy a camera. So we bought a Sony Canon 5D Mark II.
Okay.
So we bought this camera and we had it there. 6 months later, the camera's like full of dust. You know, nobody had ever used it, right? Because I was recording music all the time. I was actually recording with a band at the moment.
You writing?
Yes. Yeah. I was recording my last album, the BST album.
Okay.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which in turn turned into my production
company. To your production company.
So I was working on that last album. We had that camera collecting dust. And then we had a really cool artist by the name of Kal-El who was in the studio. Little dude from like New York, hip-hop, swag, super creative. And he was like, yo, man, I'd really like to shoot a video for this. And then I was like, I think I could do that. I had already produced and kind of co-directed videos for myself,
right?
But from an artistic point of view, right? Not from the technical that I know cameras and no. It was more like I knew the aesthetic that I wanted. I've always had a great eye, I think, for stuff like that. So this was my first time like saying, all right, like fuck it, let's go. Like I'm gonna, shoot it, edit it, everything.
Full project.
Yeah, full project. And let me tell you, man, me jamé tremendo mojón.
Yeah, you were impressed with the results.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I was super whack. I didn't understand the workflow of it. This isn't music. You lay down a couple verses, a couple hooks, and before you know it, some other guy finishes the job for you because he's mixing it.
Okay.
Once your part is done, it's done. A director's part is never really done, right? You're there from conception to burial.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Until you're dead and gone with it and you're not touching it ever again. So It's like, I bit off more than I could chew, but I'm glad I did. Escuelita.
Yeah,
again,
of course. That's
right.
It's a learning curve.
And I think for me, I've been blessed and lucky enough that all my Escuelitas have been paid for.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes any
Frankie
sense.
touched on that too.
Yeah, a lot of people go to Escuelita and they don't get paid for it, right? You just got to go to Escuelita.
So like what Frankie said was like his Escuelita was like basically working in different kitchens, learning from different people, right?
Yeah.
He talked about culinary school. Like when he got there, it was like $40,000. He's like, no. And then he just figured out a way to learn from other people and just do his own. And of course there was some struggles, but once you pick up the way you want to do things, it became easy for him.
100%. I was definitely a wreck my first few sets. That first set in particular, that I was talking about, the Kalel video, I was so excited that I was directing my first video.
Yeah.
I had no clue what I was doing. That I went out and partied the night before.
So when you directed this video, was there like more than one camera guy? Or
No,
was this
I was the camera guy, and I hired a buddy of mine to like help me with lights and stuff like that. I said, I don't need everybody. I can do this by myself.
Yeah. You bit off more than you could chew.
Yeah. And then I went out and partied the night before, got super drunk, and showed up to the set like 2 hours early. Yeah, just so I could get some sleep. And that was my introduction. And I learned quick, like never again.
Yeah.
Like I'm not an artist no more. At this point, I'm behind the camera.
Yeah. And at that point, you saw it as a initiative to make money?
Yeah, 100%. How can you make money if you don't treat it as such?
Yeah.
And as an artist, I think we were accustomed to doing what we want because it's all about us. Being an artist, I feel is a selfish occupation at times, right?
Because it's your own artistic.
Yeah. You got to care about yourself all the time. And then everybody tells you how cool you are. So you start believing how cool you are. And, I think you lose touch with reality a little bit. And I think that directing brought me back to reality.
So would you say there's like I would say this. There's a balance between, if you're an artist, right? You said you have to be somewhat selfish, right? Yes. But at the same time, you want to give people what they want, like what they want to hear, but you also don't want to lose your own artistic, what you think is your creativity behind it.
Hence why
that's the same thing as directing, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what made me fall out of love with music. I was tired of the fakeness.
Okay.
I was so ingrained in the industry per se down here that all I saw was just fakeness all around me. And I was like, man, what did I get in this for? Did I get in this to play some part, or did I get in this really to just be a creative?
Yeah.
And bottom line, I'm a creative. I don't care if I'm in front of a camera, behind the camera. I can still write rhymes. I don't know. You want to cook? I can cook. You know what I mean? I can paint. I can do graffiti. I don't know. I'm just a creative.
Yeah.
And I'm most happy when I'm just creating.
Yeah. That's
without that pressure of music. You got to have a hit record. If you ain't got no hit record, you ain't making no money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a pressure there. And I just kind of eliminated that pressure for myself. I don't like pressure. I want to create I want the pressure to be my own, not yours. You know?
Yeah, and that's very, very, very similar to what Frankie said, like how he felt with cooking. Like it was his way to express himself. If you liked it, you liked it. If you don't, you don't. But this is the way I'm expressing myself through my food.
That's how La Jama started. Like when we never did La Jama for money or to try to sell the show or nothing. We did it honestly because this is what we felt happy doing.
Right.
Me and Frankie got this kind of rule where it's like, I don't know, man, if it makes you laugh and smile, like or gets you scared or what, like let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're not scared of nothing. And like when we came up with the idea, we were like, oh yeah, we gotta do that.
So when did directing become like you were getting those consistent gigs, you were getting noticed, you were putting yourself? We want the people out there to know, like, first of all, that things take time, right? They don't just happen overnight. So you get a couple gigs, Escuelita happens, and then you get to a point where people start recognizing your work. How long did that take? How much networking goes into that? For the people out there that want to do what you're doing, that want to take that creative route.
Good question. At the time I was when I really took video seriously, I was working. I had an actual job. I had quit music already. I said, you know what? I'm gonna get me a job. And believe it or not, I worked at Turkey Point Nuclear Power Plant. Yeah, I worked at a nuke plant for 9 years.
Okay.
I was a scaffold foreman / supervisor, and I was just.
But still taking gigs.
Yeah, but still taking gigs on the weekends, right?
Exactly.
But working hard to, buy my house, feed my, family and all that.
Yeah, providing.
But definitely like taking gigs. And you know what actually made everything kind of change for me a little bit was during that time, obviously I knew I needed to make a decision, right? It was either like, come on, you're going to work corporate forever or you're going to, jump off the building.
Jump off the cliff. That's what Frankie said.
Yeah.
One day he had to just jump.
You got to jump, right? So I knew the day was coming, but things started changing for me when I started shooting weddings.
Okay.
So for you videographers out there,
that's a good way to start.
Right? Well, I think it's a great way to start, and I'll explain why. Because there's no do-overs in a wedding, right? When you're shooting a music video, if I don't like this, I don't know, this position you were in or whatever, I guess, hey, let's do that again.
I feel there's a lot of pressure behind that, though.
100%.
Because you're getting someone's big day.
Yes.
They want that shit perfect.
Right, that moment when the
Escuelita, that's kind of hard.
Escuelita, to me, was amazing.
That's kind of hard.
And I was being raped on that Escuelita, right? I signed a deal. Man, I'm not going to say her name because I'm not going to put her out there, but she's a pretty famous wedding photographer. And she said, man, I'm looking for a guy like you. And, what are you going to charge me per wedding? And man, I just wanted the gig. So I was like, look, I'll do them for, I think it was like $700 a wedding. That's like shoot all day, then edit for a week, right? Like I mad cheap.
Are you just doing the reception?
No, the whole thing. I'm there with you from when you start getting ready to to whatever.
So it's like a mini documentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to my point.
Okay.
I think that's the greatest Escuelita.
Okay.
Because if you got into videography because you want to make music videos, then you shouldn't do what I told you to do, right? Because that's all you're gonna do is music videos. You never really have to worry about the narrative and the script aspect of it.
That makes a lot of sense,
right? But if you're gonna do what I do now, which is now short films, documentaries,
you're telling a story.
You have to learn the art of storytelling.
Yeah,
they call it.
Makes a lot of sense.
They call it an art, and I think that to be a filmmaker for a guy like I didn't go to school, whatever, bro, start with weddings. Because it teaches you how to tell a story throughout a day. It gives you a beginning point, it gives you an end point, and now your swag is on how you tell that story.
So I do have, now that you mentioned the thing about school, Frankie talked about school, right?
Is this whole podcast gonna be about Frankie? I'm gonna stop bringing Frankie.
So let me ask you a question. Do you agree with that? You think somebody should go to school?
I think you should follow your heart. And I think.
But do you see the value in it?
I do. Of course, because there's going to be connections there that you make, networks, right? Somebody that you went to Full Sail with is now a famous producer in someplace else or whatever. Yeah, so there is value there, but I just think that opportunity doesn't present itself to everybody. I never had the opportunity to go to film school. I never had the opportunity to do anything. Did
you try?
No, but I had a family that wasn't supportive of anything that I did. Hence why I was always... Independent because nobody really gave a fuck. Oh God, he's painting on walls. They didn't see it as art. They saw it as delinquencia.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand that there was this creative thing inside of me that I just want to express myself.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to have inside of you.
I understand that. Yeah.
I wake up with this passion every day to create. Like no, seriously. Like when I wake up, I don't think about money. I think about what am I gonna create today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I gotta make money. Money will come. But like it's weird. Like
that's everybody's always first thought.
I'm rewired different, right? Most independent hustlers, they want to get money first. Me, I want to create and then...
Let that appreciation come.
Yeah, but the money will come. I don't know. I feel like, it's true what they say. When you do what you love, the money will come.
The money will come, yeah. Because people will see that you're good at it or your value's there. Yeah.
I think if you're scared, you should do it.
Yeah.
If you're
so
scared,
you think for most people, just jump off the cliff? Like you don't think necessarily that the school will lead to like a bigger network or meeting people?
It could. But if that's, I don't play well necessarily with everybody, right?
Right.
I don't like, when I was a kid, I never colored inside the lines. I did it. I made the bird, blue instead of yellow because I thought blue looked cooler.
There are blue birds.
Vibe that was in the picture. So that's me, and I think that applies to me. It's a very personal thing, but I think if you're the type of person you thrive in a scholastic environment, by all means do it. But the truth is, scholastic environments are only going to teach you so much.
Exactly.
Right? So like real life application is what's going to
experience.
Is the difference between you having a degree and me being in the game for 10 years and just getting a job.
Yeah.
Right? While you might make a couple $100, I might go make, 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might be a big difference. And you went to school and I didn't. And by the way, I'm a 9th grade dropout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. So you feel me? I think it's one of those things. Like, well, how do you weigh that? Yeah, I think you have to do what's right for you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And how you also learn, because like the independent thing of how you did it, basically, whether the people that go to school are like really disciplined, they're dedicated, right, to it. In other words, it's not that you weren't. You just know how to discipline. Like you said, you're just used to being independent. You're used to learning things on your own and then taking that initiative. Like you take it serious.
100%.
So like if you say, hey, there's this project I want to do, I'm going to go full into learning how to do this project and mastering it. There aren't people that could do that. Yeah. But they can go to school, do the class, do the structured settlement, and then get into like a job that's structured, and that guides them.
But those are the guys that are probably going to be working in production that are not like creating their own shows and stuff like that. Those are probably the guys that are the great producers, great directors.
Yeah.
There's directors out there that don't write a script.
They fill a role.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Could I be? Yeah, of course. I do it all the time. That's usually how I pay my bills.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm most comfortable in the creator role.
Right. You can adapt.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And
that's I want to get into, because directing and filmmaking has led you to not only do creative and really cool projects, but it's gotten you to a point where you've traveled a lot around the world and seen amazing places. I know Africa, Costa Rica, London, Brazil, Japan
twice. I'll be back in October now.
Another time. So talk about those experiences. What first of all, what kind of projects were these? What did you learn besides the culture, being in different places, stuff like that?
I think, so context to that, I went from music videos to quickly kind of doing weddings.
Right.
And then from weddings, I went to like party recaps and stuff like that. And then at some point there, a guy by the name of Eric Santana approached me. He's called the Palm Pirate.
The Palm, yeah.
And he's like,
I've seen his stuff.
And he's like, dude, you're so dope. I love everything you do. Have you ever shot YouTube content? And at the time, I hadn't really shot like a YouTuber. And he wasn't a YouTuber, but he was trying to be.
Right.
And he's like, yo, I'll pay you.
We're trying to be also.
Right. So he was like, I'll pay you. And I started shooting Eric. And that was another tipping point for me, right? It went from weddings, started teaching me the story aspect of it. But then with Eric, it became cool. Right? In the sense of weddings, to me, come on, I'm not going to show a wedding to my friends. We're not going to sit around and drink a beer and be like, hey, guys, watch this wedding that I just did. Yeah. But I might be like, yo, look at this guy who makes these killer waterfalls in these amazing backyards, right? Yeah, thank you. I did all that. Actually, no. I did the first couple years until we hired Paulo to take the role. Shout outs to Paulo, Films and Stories.
Does the editing for the show.
AKA Pablo. I know Pablo. Noriega.
So that's a cool segue. Like, that's and
so I started filming him, right? And then
with the fish?
And then I started learning, and then I started traveling with him a little bit. And then that's it. It snowballed because that gave me something to show future clients, right? I was like, yo, look what I'm doing with this guy. I took an industry like a waterfall, koi fish industry that had no content surrounding it. There was nothing you could really look up and cool guys doing cool shit. And here I found this Miami graffiti writer full of tattoos who did prison time with a fat ass gold chain.
I didn't know he was a graffiti writer. Okay.
Yeah, that's Erased from Damn Crew. Shout out to the eternal Damn Crew.
Okay.
Right? Like one of the first.
So we've seen his work somewhere in the studio.
Yeah, he's one of the first graffiti crews in Miami. Like Damn Crew, he was part, so was I. So I actually know him from back in those days, but as adults, we kind of reconnected. Long story short, boom, we start traveling, and now it gives me an opportunity to show my work to other people. And then before you know it, other people start saying, hey, I want you to travel with me and go do stuff. And let me tell you, Japan was amazing. Going with him.
And was up there in Japan, was that pond making too? Like
so the thing, he went from making the ponds and then he evolved into selling the koi fish that go in the ponds.
Okay.
So as he's selling them, he's like, man.
Yeah, I saw you guys went to a koi fish farm in New York. You guys went up there?
Yeah.
That was really cool. Like, and I heard his process is like really like he sits there and evaluates the koi fish and
I don't think he knows what he's looking for. I think he just sits there. Look, I got a funny story about it. Can I tell a funny story?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got a funny story about Eric. When I first started shooting Eric, I was still working at the nuke plant, getting ready to leave. So I wasn't smoking, right? And I go to do this.
You said
job.
you weren't.
I wasn't smoking, right? I got drug tested and shit like that, so I couldn't smoke. Now I'm a tremendo pothead, right? But back then I wasn't. And so I show up to this job that Eric is shooting. It's in the Grove. There's a pool in the front yard as opposed to the back. And then that pool has waterfalls and all kinds of stuff, turf around it. It's amazing. This day, they're in the middle of creating the waterfall.
Okay.
So he's sitting on one end of the pool. We're looking at the waterfall. And we're sitting there. And he's got a big old bomba clot spliff like this, right?
At the client's house?
Yeah. Yes.
And the client doesn't care.
Okay,
He doesn't care.
What are you going to tell Eric?
You can't. Okay.
He's this big old guy with a gold chain and tattoos, and he talks to you like this.
Yeah,
what are you gonna tell him? You're not gonna tell him anything. So whatever, he's got this big old split on, and he keeps passing it to me. And at this point, I'm like, I just keep passing it back. I talk, but then I kind of pass it back. I never hit it. And he says, he's looking at the rocks. And there's this moment of silence. And he looks at me and he goes, "They're not talking to me." And I go, "Excuse me? Like, what did you say?" And he goes, he kind of leans over and he's like, "They're not talking to me." I go, who's not talking to you?
Yeah.
He goes, "The rocks. The rocks ain't talking to me. All right, guys, pack it up. Pick up the saws, pack up everything. We're getting out of here. We're going to South Miami." And I go, whoa. Hold on. You're paying me a few $100 to be here and shoot you. What do you mean? What do you mean? This is super cool. Put the fucking rocks.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Nah, bro, I'm not feeling it today. Pack up, guys. Let's go. We're getting out of here. You coming or what?" And he just walks away.
Now to South Miami to another job?
To another job.
Okay.
Because he's like,
This job I'm
not feeling this. He was on some diva.
Yeah. I'm not feeling this space.
I'm not feeling this space right now, so I'm gonna go somewhere else. And that's when I knew I was in the presence of a rock star.
Yeah.
In a literal.
But don't you have that too?
Form.
Like as a director? Like, yo, I'm not feeling the shoot or I'm not feeling where this is going, because you have that instinct and that. Yeah. And that happens to you, right?
I just never saw that
live
from that, from that perspective, right?
Right.
This is a guy putting together rocks.
But you've been there.
You would think, coño, just throw the rocks up there. But no, it's not. And you have to appreciate his art.
Exactly. I was going to say
right?
that. Yeah.
Because at that point, I realized, I'm like, this motherfucker's an artist.
Yeah.
He's a fucking artist.
He really cares about that.
And you know what? When you watch the final video of it and you see it, I was there and I understand. I'm like, I get it. He made it lean towards one side so that the water fell a particular way.
Yeah.
He understood water flow on rocks.
Yeah.
And my job was just to document it. And
I'm going to tell you why I super appreciate that. Because I really like people like you and people like that in general, because I don't have any real artistic creativity like that, right? But when I watch videos of people creating something, it really excites me, because when you see it from scratch, you'd be like, yo, how did they get from that to where they started to the final product? And you're like, that's freaking amazing. Like, they start, these artists that paint things on canvas that start off with like a couple dots, and you like where does this get to that point? I like that. And you can see that obviously by the story you're telling, even when he's saying something like, this guy did graffiti.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like as he's painting, you got to have a tremendous, and especially when you're doing it probably on the street, you got to think quick. You got to do it fast. You can't be caught. There's so many things that are going into it. So you have to be up here. Your mind has to be like on a level that my mind cannot reach, honestly. So I feel like, but you've been there as a director, right? I can't do that.
I don't know. But, I think we're all born with this childlike creativity, and I think it expresses in different ways. Yeah. And your creativity just might not be like mine. It might be just different.
Or his.
Right. And what excites you is just maybe not what excites me. And that's okay. That's great. But I think we're all born.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do.
Exactly. I appreciate seeing people that work like that.
Yeah, when I saw that aspect of him, I was like, yo, this guy's a rock star, bro.
Yeah.
And he knows what he wants. And let me tell you, is again, Escuelita, right? Because when you're on the move with a guy who's, a monster. I don't know how else to describe him. My brother, Eric Santana's a monster. He's a pond building monster, and he moves quick. And you got to move quick with him. And you learn how to adapt and what they call run and gun. In the video world, they call it run and gun.
Which is
sometimes when you're shooting on the run, right? You don't really got time to set up your lights.
Everything's on the fly.
Yeah, everything's on the fly. That to me,
improvising, in other words.
That to me is the greatest. That's like ground zero of the war.
That's like when you know you're good.
I think so. And if I could pull that off, imagínate when you give me time and budget and let me put lights up, imagine what I make then.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I look at it.
So no, and you know, maybe as a client, I'd probably be a little frustrated because like, yo, this guy's packing up, leaving. I'm trying to get my stuff, my pond, my lake done in a certain time. But you know what? At the end of the day, you see a guy that's creative like that and does that, and you say, yo, the final product was worth the
100%
the wait, right?
And then to take it further, he's like, okay, now I'm selling koi fish. And I don't I see the koi fish with imperfections here in the United States. I want to go back to the Mecca. You know what, SoFlaa? We're going to Japan.
Yeah.
I'm leaving in October. Give me your full name and your passport info. We're leaving. And that's what we did. We went to Japan to go meet like the top 5% of the Japanese koi breeders in the Yamakushi Mountains.
Right.
So I didn't know
that must
this.
have been a crazy experience.
It's amazing. That's what I love about being a filmmaker is the discovery and the exploration part of it. Yeah. I had, you know, that I thought I knew about koi fish when I've been shooting Eric for 2 years. Yeah. I thought I knew about koi fish until I went to Japan.
Yeah.
Then I realized that, you know,
it's a whole different mindset.
Well, they've been genetically painting these fish for 200 years.
It's an art.
It's an art. Yeah. I went to houses that their great grandparents, you know, were breeding koi.
And these must have been big ones too. Like.
Yeah, big ones, very colorful. What I loved about the koi over there was that the color patterns were very pronounced.
Right.
I don't know if it's the water or what, but here different than over there.
Yeah.
Because over there it's like mountain water. We're in this mountain range, and all that water that's coming down, you know, becomes their water that they live in. But man, the color patterns are just so perfect.
Yeah.
When those colors meet, it's like, wow, beautiful.
What about like, so when you went up there to Japan, it was all about the koi fish. This was a whole documentary done on koi fish. And
so I went to shoot content for him, right? So maybe make him 5-6 videos of him picking koi, right? And then while he's there picking koi, he's calling clients, FaceTiming them back in the States and saying, hey, look, I'm in Japan and look at this fish. Remember you mentioned to me you wanted something. Oh, yeah, I want it. Boom, he sells it.
These are high-level clients. People that can afford.
Yeah,
like,
you know, I'm not going to say.
How much does one of those things go for? Like a couple thousand, right?
So I saw the world's most expensive fish in 2019, in October 2019 when we went over. We went to the All Japan Koi Show. So they had the like, I don't know, Big Bertha, I don't know what her name was, but she was there and she was 2.3 mil. And then she died the next year or something like that. Pobrecita.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, you're talking about a big, perfect jumbo, you know, koi that's like, you know, 3.5 feet long, that's been eating, you know, the best food. They could feed it, living in the most pristine waters. You know, it's crazy, man. These people spend a lot of money for a fish you can't even fry and eat.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean?
It's just gonna live there in your lake and your pond. And
yeah.
So what about the work in Brazil and in Africa? And those are beautiful places with amazing scenery.
Yeah. Those are awesome. I don't think they're for everybody. I think they're for the seasoned traveler. I definitely don't recommend anybody.
Someone that wants to experience that, right?
Yeah, I would think you'd have to at least go to a few places first before you go there.
Okay.
Right? Like maybe don't bring your your wife that's never left Kendall or something like that. Maybe Nigeria is not a good place for her to go.
Okay.
There's nothing to see.
So specifically it was Nigeria.
I would say Nigeria, and I would say Sao Paulo where I was at too. I wouldn't. Okay. I don't know. Some of those places are kind of dangerous.
Were you worried? Like why you out there? Or?
I definitely had my moments. You know, there was a moment that I had in Africa where we got pulled over on a really dark road.
Yeah.
Right? There's one road in and out between the cities, right? There's not like alternative routes. You have to go that one way. And it was really dark. And we were leaving a party in Ogun, and we were going back to the city where I was staying at. And we got pulled over by military police. It was super dark. And all I could see is these, really dark, because, those Africans are dark.
Yeah.
Right? And I see these really dark-skinned guys, and they got the AKs, bro. They got the choppers, everything. And mind you, Africa is probably one of the most crookedest countries I've ever been to. Everybody wants your money. Any problem you have, sácale un billete 5-10 and problema resuelto. You good. And that's
I saw DMX on a podcast tell a story when he did a concert in Africa, and they had to book it, literally escape the whole situation.
It cost me $60 to leave the airport.
He talked about something like that.
From walking off the plane, going through the terminals, getting my luggage, going through customs, and going outside to where the car was. It cost me $60.
DMX mentioned something like that, and even someone of that stature was talking about you have to have money on you constantly to pay people just to get through certain things because it's super crazy.
So that night we got pulled over. The driver that I was with, we call him the senator because this guy shakes hands and kisses babies all day, right? He gets us through everything. We put a little money in his pocket. And,
he's the guy that gets you around.
He's the guy that gets us around and pays everybody for us, right? So the cop comes up. Cop's eyes are super red. They were drinking some palm wine or something.
Yeah.
The cops were. And
Okay.
You can see it, right? Like, they look drunk.
Yeah.
And he kind of walks over to the side, tells the guy, hey, who do we have in the car here? Like, the senator tries to give him some money. He goes, no, I don't want your money. I want to do my job today. Today, I want to do my job. And he was like, oh, but I'm here with, I have guys from America here. We're trying to get, he goes, oh, yeah? Put the car in park, take the keys out. And he walks around, comes right to me. He looks at the trunk behind me and then walks to my side. I was on the back passenger. And he says, you, get out the car. So,
you specifically?
Yeah, me. So I was like, all right. So I get out the car. He goes, come back here. He takes me to the trunk, pop open the trunk. I pop open the trunk. I have my camera bag. And he goes, whose bag is that? I go, oh, that's my bag, sir. He goes, oh, yeah, let me see. I said, oh, no, I don't have nothing, just, my little camera. He goes, open it up, let me see. Mind you, when he's talking to me, the guy, I didn't notice there was another one there next to him. I mean, they're super dark. They're wearing, like, dark clothing. We're in the freaking jungle. Like, I couldn't really see anybody.
Yeah.
But I felt the guy's AK rubbing my shin.
The guy that's next to you.
Yeah.
Or the guy behind you.
Yeah, the guy behind me kind of like pulls up and I'm like, oh shit. There's
like a warning.
One. Yeah, like don't try anything.
Yeah, don't do nothing
That's
stupid.
how I interpreted that.
Yeah.
But then I felt his gun touch my leg. And at that moment, I felt like this big.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because I realized, holy shit, man, I'm in a place where, God forbid,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. And there's really nowhere for me to go.
Were your kids born at this time?
Yeah, this was 2019. Yeah,
so
December.
that has to be going through your mind too.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I gotta get back home to my family.
So he makes me open the bag. He looks at my camera and he goes, "Oh, so you professional?" I said, "No, sir. I'm an amateur. I'm an amateur, and I'm just here with my friends for a party." He goes, "Yeah, that's normal. Amateur photographers usually come to Nigeria for parties. Yeah, real normal." And to that effect, he kind of tells me, and I'm like, Then he grabs my drone. Now he starts grabbing my mic. He goes, "Oh yeah, this looks amateur," and this looks amateur, And I'm like, "Hey man, I don't know. I'm very into my hobby, and I have the stuff. It means nothing, man. If you want, I erase footage. I don't know, like."
Yeah.
At this point, I'm in like...
You're working with him.
Yeah, I'm in flight mode because I don't want no problems type shit. And he goes, "So you have all these good stuff from America. Did you bring me anything?" And yes. Yes.
Here you go.
Yes.
Take it.
Yeah, and I think I gave him like $40, like the first, like here. And he was like, "Oh, thank you very much. Okay, close your bag, get out of here." And nothing happened.
Right.
At the end of the day, nothing happened. But
it's a good story.
That moment right there made me just feel like, holy shit, I'm in a really bad spot. And I think that my submissiveness, it helped. And I'm an alpha male all day.
Yeah.
But I'm alpha enough to know
when you're in your territory.
You got to beta down a little bit.
You don't go to nobody's hood and disrespect them when you don't know, when you're not.
And that's why I say Africa's not for everybody, right? There's no creature comforts, right? The toilets didn't flush. There was no showers. You had to take a shower with hot water that the food, man, I went through days without eating a proper meal. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy.
But it was an experience.
An amazing experience.
Exactly.
And the reason why I went over there is because I came up with this idea to create a docu-series about Santeria and voodoo and Ifa and where it comes from.
Right.
I myself...
it originated there?
It originated in Yoruba land in Nigeria.
I don't know why in my mind it went straight to Haiti. But.
So people think Santeria, voodoo Haiti, Santeria Cuba,
exactly,
Candomblé Brazil, Palo Puerto Rico. But in reality, they all come from Nigeria during the slave trade.
Okay.
So personal thing...
So it migrated to different...
In the diaspora.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So through the slave trade, these aspects of Ifa got dropped off in different places, and then they evolved after a couple hundred years.
Right.
So
people had their own interpretation,
right,
based on region.
So my colors, brown and green, are traditional Ifa. I am a Babala. I'm initiated.
Okay.
I'm a priest in Ifa.
I know a little bit about this. My family's Cuban. So.
Okay, so I'm a Babala tradicional.
Yep.
Been to Africa, and then really what I went there to do was to document.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky. My padrino is an Araba, which is like a pope.
Okay.
A lot of people think you have Babalao and then you have Oluo, but above Oluo you have Araba.
I actually thought the Babalao was the highest.
No, sir.
So I didn't know there was something higher than
There's two.
Okay.
There's 2 or 3 more.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Levels.
So now I just learned something.
And you can only get those levels when you're appointed by the king.
Because I felt like when people say, "Oh, he's a Babalao," it was like the ultimate.
That's like saying he's a priest. He's the pastor of the church.
Yeah.
But even the pastor has a boss somewhere.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
You know, so
okay.
Yeah, and then I don't know.
So when you went to Brazil, it was all part of the same
documentary, and again, exploration, discovery. That's why I love filmmaking so much.
Brazil's a scary place too, man.
Yeah, Sao Paulo's no joke, bro.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Sao Paulo's no joke, bro.
That's another. So you had another guide there.
Yes, I did. Yeah. But my guide has been robbed 4 times in the past 5 years,
and he still does it.
Yeah, but now he's got guns.
Okay.
So now my guide is a guy with guns and knives, like by the front door, and he's tremendo guapo, you know. He makes sure everybody sees. You know.
So when you went there, you felt a lot safer.
Yeah, because I'm like, this motherfucker crazy.
Yeah.
Right. He's crazy enough. He shows you the knives. He shows you the guns. I guess.
Is there other people with him, or is this one solo?
So we were in a particular house of Ifa, which is pretty popular down there.
Okay.
And the reason why the people got robbed is because obviously the people in the neighborhood realized, oh, there's people with money coming to do
Americans.
Santo. To do Santo here. They're paying money to do ceremonies, so let's rob the patrons. Go.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of my favorite movies is City of God, which was in Brazil.
In Brazil, yeah.
And I thought that movie, and like just to see the slums of how things operate over there, you realize like, bro, it's a whole. You think about like, yeah, you don't want to like disrespect. Like you go say, oh, there's Liberty City, but then there's that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the whole different type of hood. Like that's a different thing.
I grew up in Alapata my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm what I am now, but don't get it twisted. My whole life I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Alapata. That's just how we always roll down here, right?
Yeah.
Going to these places makes you say, man, I grew up in fucking Pinecrest.
Exactly, you know, compared to what's going on over there.
Compared to where I was at.
Absolutely. And for people that think differently are crazy.
Yeah. And there's this sense of like absolute poverty that I think changes the people there. Yeah. Right? With us, I feel like there's always some sort of resource, right? God forbid you lose your job. I don't know, you can't eat tomorrow. You got 20 friends on your phone that you can call and at least crash one night. I don't know, like if you really are honest, there's no foreseeable rock bottom for you. Unless it's like drugs or something stupid like that, right? But there's no foreseeable. But when I go to these places, that doesn't exist. So I think it changes the psyche of the human.
Yeah.
Right? It becomes on some, I don't give a fuck shit.
Yeah.
And I gotta eat.
Yeah.
Right? And you look like food, bro. Those are nice. I mean, to you, those are $60 shoes. But to them, that's my feet don't hurt for 3 months.
Yeah. And that's kind of what you learn from a movie like City of God. Like, you're just trying to survive.
You're just trying to survive. Yeah. So in essence, how do you really blame?
Exactly. For their environment. That's,
you know,
you can't blame people for thinking a certain way when they're brought up a certain, they're from birth to they die, it's survive.
Yeah.
It's instinct survival. Like,
it's a different mind frame.
And that's just human nature in general, right? Our instinct is to survive.
100%.
For them, it's a whole different type of thing that we don't know what that's
have you ever gone like days without eating?
Oh, no.
Have you ever been in a position where you honestly just didn't have it for a few days and couldn't really eat?
No.
Like, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
We live in America and we think to ourselves like, no way. I don't know. I can't think of one person that's ever had that like that.
Yeah.
But recently I went to places where the motherfuckers didn't eat unless I bought food for everybody.
And I think that's what's freaking awesome about that. That is, it's you as a film director, as a guy that's doing these productions, that's such a cultural experience. Do you think that makes you also be a better director? Like those kind of like learning those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I would think so. Yeah.
I think that what I do, apart from the film aspect of it, the director aspect of it, I think that's an art.
Of course, I agree.
In itself, right?
Yes.
Because I have to know what I'm looking for, but at the same time, I have to trust the guys that I hired that know more than me. It's a dance.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, like recently I've been shooting this documentary about crypto.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And it's another again an amazing experience, right? Because I'm learning so much and everything. But one thing that I'm learning more than anything is how to interview.
Right.
There's an art to what you're doing with me right now.
Yeah.
I'm a talker, right? I don't mind talking. I can have these kind of conversations with anybody at any place. Yeah. But when you're shooting a documentary, you know, it's the art of what I call the art of extraction.
Yeah.
Because there's a story that you know, And then I need to extract that story out of you, but I don't want you to tell it the way you would tell it to anybody. I need you to tell it to me in a certain way so it fits my movie.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah,
like, so there's this art of extraction that goes on, and it's a dance.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like, you know, apart from what I'm learning about crypto and all that shit, which is amazing, right? Crypto's obviously here to stay, and you know, we definitely see changes happening in the future, but just being there and interviewing these people, I think it makes me a better listener.
Yeah.
Right? I think I'm a good human being in general. I can talk and I can listen, but doing this project has definitely like made me want to listen more.
Right.
Because
that's what I like to do. Yeah.
There's more of this.
I like to hear people's stories.
Yeah.
I like to learn from people and just, you know, let them tell who they are and what they are about.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this.
And especially if you're around people like that, for example, the crypto people, right? I'm sitting around billionaires and people that own, you know, really big companies. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They got something to say.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe it's better you shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah. They got something worthwhile.
They got something worthwhile. So I think I've learned that aspect of it.
And that's the same thing. I'm learning a lot from you, just in your experiences and how you've dealt with certain things. And man, listen, I could never imagine being in a position like the one you were in Africa. And I think that's freaking amazing, right? That the fact that you even had the balls to go over there and just, you know, explore, and to what you were exploring, to do that, to get deep into, to get there, man, that's just ballsy in general. Like that's big balls.
I went to an open air botanica. I don't know if you know what a botanica is. Right? That's the Cuban store for
the spiritual store.
It's a spiritual store, right? Where they sell the beads and all the stuff.
Candles.
All the stuff you need.
Yeah.
So I went to one of those.
Cacao.
Yeah, I went to one of those outdoor. Yeah.
Like a farmer's market?
Yeah.
Like a farmer's market for botanica.
For brujeria.
Yeah.
Never.
Over there, are they using...
Never again.
They're using more like different things than what the santeros here use, right? Because
they're using what is original to Ifa, to the tradition, right? So over there they don't use seashells. They use the cola nuts,
which is what the babalaos use.
But the babalaos in Cuba use the seashells because they didn't have cola nuts.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so they use seashells. So a lot of times things change. Because of demographics.
I've seen the cola nuts here too, though.
Now,
okay, maybe because I'm younger.
10 years.
Yeah. Okay, maybe
10 years they got here.
Yeah.
And it was my babalao that brought my padrino that brought them. My padrino brought that, and he brought the first Ifa Santeria conference in Miami.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, 2009 or 2010. And he brought the Oni from Africa, and he brought Popula. Popula's going to be here again now in August. But like these high-ranking priest people from the Yoruba faith, you know, if you're into Santeria or you're a Santo and you got beads, I think you owe it to yourself to learn a little bit about the history of where your faith comes from, because you're kind of just believing some shit that's kind of new, right? Santeria, Lucumi, all that stuff, those were developed in the past 300 or 400 years, where Ifa has a trajectory of, 6,000 years.
So how many places did you go to film this one project?
Yeah, so I went...
4?
So we started Miami.
Okay.
Then we went to Nigeria. We just did Brazil.
Okay.
And then now next stop will be Cuba.
So this is not even done?
No.
Is there another stop after Cuba?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Possibly Haiti?
Possibly Haiti. Okay. Correct. The original spot that I wanted to go to was Benin, which is next to Nigeria.
Right.
Which is where voodoo comes from. And I felt that voodoo deserved its very own episode.
Because it's very different.
It's very different because voodoo started in Benin. Somehow or another it took hold in Haiti, became like its own... like a separate entity of voodoo, but then there's like other versions of it. Like, for example, if you go to New Orleans, right? You been to New Orleans?
I have not.
You go to New Orleans, there's a lot of voodoo stuff. You walk into some of these voodoo stores and you're going to see little figurines of Shango, of Oshun.
Okay.
Right? And you think it to yourself, coño, that's Santeria, but it's not.
Okay.
Voodoo.
I would have thought that, yeah.
Voodoo, Santeria, Lucumi, Palo, Candomblé, they all stem from Ifa. It's like saying Christianity, but then you have Baptist, Pentecostal, que esto, que lo otro.
But it's like one thing originated here, and then it went other regions, and people took it different.
The difference was that the seed spread because of slavery.
But the belief is all the same?
No, the belief has changed.
Because it's like, like most people, they still believe in God, but there's a different way of believing in right?
And that's really what I'm exploring, bro.
Yeah.
Like when I just went to Brazil to study candomblé, and I went to this beautiful I don't know what to call it. It was like a retreat on the side of a mountain, like 40 miles north of Sao Paulo in the jungle, and it's this I don't know, maybe it was like maybe 5 acres, and then there's like 11 houses on it. I'm talking big houses, like your normal house size, and then each of these houses had an orisha inside of it. So one house was for Oshun, one house was for Obatala, one house for Shango, and this guy, Osiman, he is the leader of this section of Candomblé,
right?
And he has all these people that live and work in the house, and at first sight you might think it's kind of culty,
right?
When you get there, because they all live and work, but I was there for a few days. Everybody's happy. It wasn't what I first thought when I got there, like, right? But I realized quick, like, no, there's love here. This is the true meaning. And after going to Africa and seeing what I thought was the true meaning of the religion, I found no difference when I was in Brazil, because the essence, the ashe, was there. No different.
Yeah.
You know what changes? Semantics. And I get that, right? They don't speak the same language in Brazil. They don't eat the same food. They don't have the same access to the same materials that they might have. So yeah, people change it up, but the ashe is still there.
Yeah.
And I'm actually
how many years have you been working on this project? Like 4?
Like 4 years.
Wow.
And it's my project. It's my passion project. Nobody pays me to do this.
It's a personal
thing.
Yeah.
What I do is, since I have so many followers that are into the religion and tell me that they live vicariously through my travels, what I do is every time I'm about to do one, I set up a GoFundMe, and my fan base will just pay for it.
Shoot me something, yeah. Shoot you something.
Yeah. So I don't know, like for Africa, I think I asked for like $2,500, right? Yeah. Which ain't shit. I got the money. I can afford to pay for it myself. Technically, if the GoFundMe doesn't go through, I'll pay for it myself. But truth is, I'm doing this for free for the world. Yeah. I think the world should pay for it. What's $1? What's $5? If you're going to benefit from watching and understanding where your faith comes from, because you're rocking these beads and you're rocking these things, but you don't really know where it comes from.
Your foundation.
Yeah. Help me help you.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it so I can show you.
It's knowledge.
Yeah, I'm giving you knowledge, and it's free.
Even for the ones that are not.
Yeah.
It's learning something new.
And it kind of works out, right? Like I said, I don't know, when I put the GoFundMe up, my friend puts 5, el otro pone 10, and before you know it, I got like 6,000 followers, nothing crazy, right? But before you know it, $2,500 fills up just a few people putting a few dollars.
Well, what I think is super amazing about it is, even if you're not, whether you're into it, whether it's something that you already are into and you want to learn more about it, what I love about this kind of career, or what I love about this, or what I appreciate about it in general, is you're introducing something new to someone that doesn't understand someone else and why they do something, right?
That's the goal.
That's the goal, right? And I in general, I think that should always be the goal, right? Because whether I appreciate it or not, you say, look, you might not agree or accept what I'm doing, or you might have a negative connotation to this for whatever reason, right? Because how it's portrayed, right? But I'm giving you a real perspective of something.
That's
and
exactly
then you
why.
take what you want with that information.
That's exactly why we did it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just hit that nail right on the head, bro. We're tired of the negative stigma, the negative connotation. I mean, look, I'll just go as far as saying this. The word voodoo comes from the word vaudou, which is French, but from Benin, from Africa, from that section. And that word literally means to be in harmony with God and nature.
Yeah.
So over there in Benin, that word vaudou means to be in harmony with God and nature. You ask any American, what does voodoo mean? Voodoo?
Yeah.
That's black magic. That's devil worship. Yeah. That's occult. That's, don't they kill animals? Don't they sacrifice? So just,
do you think the way it's portrayed in movies?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I make movies.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking that.
My turn.
Yeah. Now it's your turn to show a different light.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
And a real light, not a movie portrayal light, like 100%. A real film. We're going to the heart of it. Like,
I slept on the floors. My feet were dirty.
Yeah.
And these people I didn't eat the barbecue bush rat, but,
So let me ask you this question. While you're filming this, are like people talking about what they're doing and you're hearing it directly from them? Or is this a visual and you're explaining?
So in the religion, it's very...
Like a narrator.
It's very careful. Yeah, I have them narrate, right? I cut and choose what I need to tell my story, but yeah, I don't know, bro. It's just tremendous experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's what's amazing about this.
There's certain things I can't show, right? So like, for example, right now I'm working on episodes.
Because it's too graphic?
No, because there's certain secrets that we can't show, right? So when you're a babalao, like I am, I'm allowed in any room. On top of being a babalao, I have other. I'm part of other clubs that I can't mention.
Credentials?
Yeah, I have other credentials that allow me to be in certain places. So naturally, I could come in with my camera. But what I got to think about is you don't have my credentials. So I can't show you those parts.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're also going into someone's space.
Yeah, yeah. And in a very personal...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget when I did IFA. It was one of the, I don't know, best times of my life, bro. I spent 5 weeks in a room surrounded by African Orishas, and it was life-changing, you know? So, yeah, you have to respect that, 100%.
Exactly. Yeah, of course.
That's why I told you earlier, it's like a dance. It's like a dance. Like last weekend, the weekend before last, I'm shooting this docu-series on a very famous DJ, and he was very, I'm shooting a docu-series on him, but he doesn't want me filming him all the time, you know? So sometimes your subjects, right? Like you have to learn how to dance with them, right? He didn't really know me, so he doesn't want me filming certain things.
Personal stuff.
Right. But after you develop a rapport with them and you talk to them and you know
the relationship.
Yeah, then at that point they start giving you more information.
A level of trust, yeah.
I think that's where I don't know, for me it seems like that's what documentary filmmaking has taken me, you know.
Okay. And also, okay, so we talked about a passion project. And then you've done projects where you've been paid, we've been nominated for awards, have gotten awards, like the Croqueta situation. Yeah. Right? And that was just in the...
Croqueta Nation.
Croqueta Nation. That was just in the... What was it? The film festival?
Miami
Film Festival with the premiere in... Was it in downtown?
Yeah, at the Silver Spot. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
How was that like?
Man, that's amazing to fucking see.
That's like a whole 180 project. Yeah, that's like a whole...
Yeah, so Sergio's restaurant wanted to break the world record and make the world's longest croqueta. And I documented it. And then I turned it into a movie. And then here we are, Croqueta Nation. It's now like in I don't know how many film festivals.
Yeah.
We haven't won anything with that one in particular yet. But the last short documentary that I did before Croqueta Nation was called Never Too Late.
Okay.
And that was about Yuli the Monster Diaz, the fighter.
Right. We talked about that. We're going to get into that.
Thank you. 12-minute.
Big fan of his podcast.
Yeah.
I've watched it a few times.
Shout out to Don't Blink. Shout out to the
Don't
boys.
Blink podcast.
Yeah.
Very good podcast, man. If you get to see this, I love your podcast. I love the guests that you have. And what I mainly love about his podcast is his energy.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got good energy.
Yeah, they play good off of each other, him and Too Nice. Yeah. Like, it's awesome. But Yuli's been my childhood friend, a long time. And I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, when I really started doing passion projects, I kind of understood that these are long-term. So I said, you know what? I'm going to just start filming him. So whenever I could, there was plenty of times he would invite me to come film. And I'm like, yo, I got a paid job. I can't go. But, oh, what are you doing this week? Yeah, I'll be there. And I would just come and I would film. And I don't know, man. I probably had a good terabyte of footage of him after 4 years going to fights. I was there when he won the world record. I've just been there to a lot of things. And then when this fight with Thiago Alves came up, major milestone in his career.
Right.
And it just like one day it just fucking hit me. And I'm like, bro, I've known my dog for a long time. He started fighting at 35. He just got...
Damn, that sounds late.
Yeah, it is late.
Yeah.
That's why the movie's called Never Too Late.
Oh, okay. That makes sense now.
Because this is a street dude that grew up. That
for some reason, I thought he started like a lot earlier.
Never.
Okay.
He was fighting in the streets.
And that's what I thought, yeah.
He was fighting
Which
in
I thought
prison.
that's how this begins.
Yeah. I met Yuli before he went to prison. And then when he got out of prison, we all hung out. I don't know, I was in my early 20s. And he just got out of prison.
Yeah.
So, it was just, I don't know, man, cool. It was really cool that he started to fight at 35. And after all these years of having footage of him and this fight coming up, and I'm just like, the story told itself.
Yeah.
This is the story. What's the story in Yuli? What's the takeaway? That you can honestly do whatever it is you want to do in life, bro. If you really want to do it, you can.
I agree.
And can't nobody tell me no, because I watched this guy pull himself out of the slums. Work. It's really all about work. And we did it. That was a passion project. It's not like me and Yuli made money. He never paid me for that. I never wanted money for that. This was me and my really good friend. I love Yuli. That's my brother. If I broke down right now, my car, I'd probably call him to see if he's in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog.
He's your first call.
What I'm saying, he's one of them, right?
Yeah.
Like my top 5s, right?
Exactly.
Him, Frankie. There's just certain people that are my dogs, you know, and I love them to death. And so it was just one of those things. And look, bro, the thing grew legs. We've won 4 times. and they're playing it again this Wednesday the 29th at the Film Gate, which I hope we win that one too, you know. But, you know, we got 4 wins, bro. Best short doc. And it goes to show you, I never thought about winning a documentary. I never thought about making a movie. I shot all of this with a Sony a6500. So all you videographers out there, never too late. I shot with a Sony a6500. 8-bit, super whack camera, old as fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't know, bro. I'm a firm believer que no la flecha es el indio.
Yeah.
It's not the arrow, it's the Indian,
Yeah.
right? If I could shoot that, I could shoot on an iPhone. I
Yeah.
don't care. But I really did. I shot that, collected the footage, we did it, and it grew legs, bro. And it just goes to show you, bro, that, like, I don't know. Even for me, it's never too late, bro. I got into video at my 30s.
Yeah.
You know, I left my cushy $110,000 a year job to go film weddings and music videos.
And with that being said, I want to touch on something. We had another guest here, DJ Genesis, who toured with like Kelly Rowland and BET Awards, done a lot of stuff, and he talked a lot about the most important thing for him when he started DJing, right? In the beginning of his whole thing was mastering his technique and getting it down. And I want to touch base on something that you said earlier, whether we're talking about you going to school or whether you're starting something that want to go in the same direction that SoFlaa has gone through, right? It doesn't matter what you start off with. It just matters the eye behind the camera, your technique, your skill, what you're building, the equipment. It might not be the greatest, it might not be the best, but what matters is the heart and passion you put into that, right? You agree with this?
I don't know. I think the equipment is the least of your concerns.
Right.
If you want to be a filmmaker, the least of your concerns is what camera you have.
Yeah, so no excuses.
I think first things first, you should learn shot composition. You should understand, basic foundational lighting concepts, just basic shit.
Editing.
I mean, before you get there, like before we can even edit, we got to get the shot, right? So first things first, can we at least get a properly composed shot with a little bit of light? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's first things first before we can put it in the computer. So
you've mentioned a lot about light throughout this podcast. You feel like that's very important in all this.
Lighting that's what separates the amateurs. Lighting is what separates the professionals from the masters.
It's funny because I would think it's like, for someone that's me that doesn't know, I would think it's like about angles and coverage and how you catch it.
I can teach a monkey how to hold the camera at a certain angle, Ty, look at it. But man, that art of understanding how light falls on a face or what light does behind you when it's giving you a highlight or the mood of the color that it'll give you. Now, I'm by nowhere near a master of it or anything like that, but that's an art form that I truly appreciate and I truly look forward to exploring more as my budgets grow.
Right.
Okay.
So out there, no excuses. You don't need to save for your $10,000 camera. Start however you can and get it off the ground and do whatever projects you want, whether it be a passion project. His project that won 4 awards, it was a passion project 100%. For a friend, and caught history in the making there too while we're at it. So understand you don't need the heaviest and the most expensive and biggest equipment to do what you love and to start. You just don't need it. You start however you can and get your foot off the ground. Start with them small gigs, right?
Yep.
And
start with
just
the start with the free gigs.
Free gigs, yeah.
I can't tell you how many free music videos.
Don't be too prideful.
Yeah, no, not at all. And let me tell you something. Here we are. I was about to say, right? Like, I can't tell you how many free music videos and free things I've done. Even for Eric, the Palm Pirate, like even when I was charging him, there was plenty of things I didn't charge him for, right? Because I believe in helping so you could be helped, Yeah. So don't be afraid of doing the free ones.
Yeah.
The free ones are Escuelita. You're just not getting paid for Escuelita at that moment, But you got to do them. And here we are. Fast forward. I don't know. I consider myself a professional. My production company pays my bills, and that's what I live off of. And if right now, I don't know, man, Frankie calls me and says, yo, I got a great idea. I want to shoot some shit. You want to do it? I'm going to go shoot it for free.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you can't be scared. Like,
he's also a close friend, though.
I get it, but okay, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I'll still do free shit.
Yeah.
If you come up to me and I met you in the street and you're like, yo, man, I'm a rapper and I need a music video, bro, and I love your work and I would love to have a music video from you. Bro, hear my song, bro. Please, look, I'm broke. I don't got no money, but I'm down to work. I'll produce the video. I'll help with the lights, whatever. Bro, I don't know, you're going to get a free music video from me.
You respect the grind.
I respect the grind and I respect the effort because I think that's the biggest thing, bro. A lot of people are fucking scared of effort. A lot of people want quick results right now. I want to be a director, but I don't want big budgets right now. No, you got to learn how to work with $1,000 before I'm going to give you $100,000.
So this is a perfect segue. Frankie talked about when you guys started La Jama TV.
Yeah.
You had just told him, like, we got all this film. There was no one really out recording. You came up with the idea to start recording this stuff, putting it on film.
Yeah.
And he also talked about how you came up with the name. You guys were just going, say you guys start off with two dope boys in a Cadillac.
Yeah, it was two dope boys in a Cadillac.
Kind of crazy names. And then all of a sudden you said La Jama and it was like, it clicked. Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing with Yuli, right? Like you just said, you know what we're doing here is magic. This needs to be on camera. This needs to be recorded for future, which is what's led into La Jama now, right? And all the projects that you guys are working on.
Do you believe in luck?
Of course.
I think you need luck. Or is it all destiny?
No, I think you need a little bit of luck.
I think I'm very lucky.
Okay, that's fair.
Apart from being,
there's luck in destiny though.
Yeah. So apart from my destiny already being set, apart from being a hard worker, apart from all that, I think there's a level of luck that I might have had.
Okay.
That I didn't maybe know I had at that moment, but my spidey sense was telling me, there's something special going on here. Pull out your camera.
Yeah, that's how he said it.
Yeah. So this is a spidey sense, right? Like something's like, And I think I've been lucky that I was in the right place at the right time. Coño, I was filming my good friend who got the Guinness Book World Record for fastest knockout in sports combat history. 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was there with my camera. I actually mixed the bare knuckle actual professional footage with my Sony footage in the video. I don't know. I was there, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I think there's a level of luck, but I think luck only comes in if you work hard. Okay. Right? I think if you don't apply yourself, there is no luck.
Yeah.
So you say sometimes people are lucky. You say, no, they're lucky. I have a cousin that we say he's lucky. El tipo siempre encuentra. He always finds money on the floor.
Yeah.
I have a cousin named Mikey. And Mikey finds money all the time since he was little. But you know what Mikey does all the time when he walks around? Guess how he walks around?
He's looking down.
He's looking down.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to find money.
Yeah.
Something so stupid, but think about it that way to whatever you apply to yourself, to your life.
Yeah.
Right? I'm constantly looking for sources of creativity and sources of creation. And what am I making next? And I don't know. No wonder I keep doing that.
Yeah.
But if you're the type of person that says, coño, I can't, I need a camera, or coño, I don't have a good computer, but how am I going to do? Imagínate, Pablo.
Yeah, you're just making excuses.
You're not going to do shit, bro.
Yeah.
But,
and La Jama started, so you guys started filming?
Yeah.
And did you ever think it was going to lead to this food truck?
No.
To any of the stuff that you
not at the beginning.
Not at the beginning.
At some point, though, we realized, oh shit, we have a viable brand here. And it's only natural for us to evolve to the food truck and the spices, and because that's the next step for us. We're gonna drop some spices.
Okay.
God willing, we got some collaborations coming out with big food companies.
Right.
So there'll be like a La Jama version of whatever.
Okay.
So all those things are kind of being worked on, and it's
So now it's really becoming a brand.
It's becoming a brand.
Yeah.
Shit. Tomorrow I shoot. Can I say it? Yeah. I mean, when is this coming out?
2 weeks. Not next Monday, the following Monday.
All right, fuck it. I don't care, right? I've had a couple beers, so I'll say it. But tomorrow we're shooting with Vice.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Right? So we got a whole episode of...
I'm a big Vice fan.
Yeah, so Todos Los Tacos.
Yeah.
They're shooting an episode on Frankie and I tomorrow.
Okay.
And we're basically tacofying all of our menu. And they're coming in and yeah, bro, so...
That's another like super docu-series type Vice, where they do like real they deep dive into like different cultures and like underground stuff, and like that's really cool that you're doing something with Vice.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm hoping to eventually show them more stuff, and you never know, man. Maybe, this is how it is, right? You call it luck or whatever, but look, our hard work has brought us here. Now tomorrow we shoot with Vice. Maybe me and the director hit it off. He thinks I'm cool. He gets my number. He calls me 2 months later, and before you know it, 5 years later, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
another project,
yeah. Right? And that's why they call it the network, right? Because it's this web of just all these little drops in the bucket that you put. Eventually, water spills out.
Absolutely.
So
and now that you guys are building this brand. You got La Jama food truck. We're going out with spices soon. Yeah. These are the spices that are used on the truck.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah, all of Frankie's creations.
Yeah, and guys, trust me, you guys got to get out there. I was there for the the grand opening. Oh man,
that's right.
Food was amazing. Definitely get out there, support. We've had Frankie, now we've had SoFlaa on the show. Yep. We definitely want you guys to go out there and support. We're going to drop the link to the Instagram, location where the truck is parked, timing, and everything is going to be in the description box so you guys can get out there and support. Trust me, the food is good. We're not just saying that. We've been there. We've tried it. It's definitely. And you're supporting good people from Miami, and that's what this podcast is, people from Miami.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now,
plus, the food is actually good, though. We got some
It is good. It was good.
We got some fire.
Yeah. Some fire. There you go. and now that you guys have gotten to this point, will there ever be a restaurant concept?
Eventually.
Yeah.
You know, I think with Frankie and I, we're just going to continue to do what makes us happy. And I think what makes Frankie and I happy has always been evolution.
Right.
The freedom to evolve into wherever life takes you. And we started La Jama during the pandemic.
Right, which is what he talked about.
To keep ourselves entertained. It turned into what it turned into, and whatever it turns into next, we're not afraid of.
He talked about like it was so much free time to record because no one was really out there doing, and people were willing to sit down with you guys and just collaborate.
Yeah. And then it's just, me and him, it took us, the first few episodes I shot by myself, edited by myself, but then after a while I was like, we gotta get a budget.
You gotta get people.
Yeah, I gotta hire some guys to help me, and I need at least a little bit of help because, man, to host, shoot, edit,
Were you guys just trying to showcase Miami food or just food in general as a cultural thing?
Let me tell you how much me and Frankie are true to ourselves, that we kind of don't care where you want us to eat at. We want to go where we like.
Okay.
Straight up. Like, that was the whole idea. We went to our favorite places, our favorite taco place, our favorite barbecue place.
Yeah, I've seen the episodes. Yeah.
Right? So it's like, we went to People Burger. Every place that you've ever seen a La Jama episode at, I probably still eat there once or twice a month.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Every place. Like, I don't know. On Tuesdays, I go here. On Thursdays, I go there.
Did you guys go to a place that you discovered that you hadn't?
Never.
Okay.
It was always, so me and Frankie, we do the the research and development first, right? I don't know. I don't know. If I went out with some friends and we ended up at Primo Red Tacos, I'm like, oh, these shits were fire. I'll FaceTime Frankie. Yo, these things are fire. Yeah, you shoot an episode? Yeah, fuck it, let's shoot an episode. Boom, we're back 2 days later with cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the I Hate Mondays. You guys did. Oh, the ribs look phenomenal. Yeah. And I've wanted to go so many times.
You still haven't gone?
No, well, they're only open for a gap period of time. Yeah. And then it's it's a little place, and I haven't been able to just get around to it, but I've been wanting to go.
Hate Mondays is great.
It looks great, yeah.
Yeah, this guy's smoking meat in the parking lot.
In the parking lot, yeah. It's the most unsuspecting place because I've been there. But when I went, it was kind of busy, and they only had maybe 20 minutes before they closed. We didn't even have time to get to sit down, so we're like, we'll just come back. But it's like in the most unsuspecting place, like it's a warehouse parking lot.
Yeah,
It's literally like a warehouse converted into which I think is freaking awesome, by the way. Because I don't know how he got that idea, but it was like, you know what?
He used to work at Home Depot.
Oh, my God.
And then he dropped the Home Depot apron, fucking rented that warehouse, turned it into a smoker, and turned it in. It's a warehouse. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he had to get special zoning stuff for the warehouse.
Yeah,
for the food
for the
part.
kitchen in there. I'm sure it had to be. Yeah, that's what's nuts about it. But that's what also makes it unique.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys highlighted that. Is there any? Are we gonna get more of these videos? I haven't seen videos lately of you guys coming out, and is it because of the food truck's busy?
Yeah, I mean, it gets to a point where I can only spread myself so thin. I'm the editor, I'm the director, I'm one of the hosts. It gets thin. But now during the summertime, I so you can see how I operate. I'll do certain big jobs that will pay me well enough where I don't have to take another job for a month, and then in that month I'll work on La Jama stuff.
Yeah.
So,
because ultimately you're building that brand too.
I'm building that brand too, but I still need to feed my kids and pay my mortgage, right?
Of course.
So, like I said, I'll do this. I got a pretty big job coming up. When that job's done with, boom, 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 I don't got to work again for another 3 weeks. So for those 3 weeks, boom, I get in there and I hammer it out and I start banging out La Jama episodes. But there's still about 10 episodes that haven't been released yet. There's a bunch of
so you got content.
Yeah, I got content. I don't got to shoot anything else for another year.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we went so ham since the pandemic. Yeah. Everything that you've seen was shot during the pandemic, and everything that you're seeing now is probably from last year and shit like that. So
absolutely. So if
anybody wants to really get into videography and learn how to be a great video maker, hey, we got a great intern position at La Jama. You'd be directly helping me film and stuff.
Is food included?
Food's yeah.
There you go. Food is included.
You can ask anybody that shot with us, bro. When we go shoot these episodes, tremenda Jama.
Paulo, you approve?
Paulo eats good. Paulo's lucky. Paulo
told me he likes being with David's been here, man. He always eats good when he's with him.
Yeah.
Because that leftover.
Yeah.
The Indian food.
Paulo's used to sloppy seconds and leftovers and stuff like that.
So and just to wrap it up, we get we got the passion projects, we got how you got started, how that creative process started, with you with the music. We got La Jama, which is where we're ending it. And I think that's I hope you guys learned a lot about not only SoFlaa, but just the background work that goes into what he's doing. And hopefully it inspires somebody out there that maybe is hesitant, that's afraid to jump into this kind of field, or maybe that thinks that they need certain equipment. That's what I always hear. Oh, I need to get my camera. I always hear that in this kind of like when I talk to people.
Yeah,
about
why do you need a camera if you haven't even shot with your phone yet?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like shoot with your phone before you buy a camera.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't know. I think in closing, after our whole conversation, I think if there's anything I'd like to maybe add or let the viewers know is like, man, if you really want to do anything in life, I encourage you to obsess. A lot of people don't like that word. Oh, obsession is bad. It's dangerous. I think obsession is healthy. And I think if you're not obsessed with things that you love.
Right. Exactly. That's key.
You know what I mean? That to me is happiness, right? So when I did Crocodile Nation, I was obsessed. When I did Never Too Late, I was obsessed. Now I'm working on Digital Magic, which is my documentary about crypto in Miami. I am obsessed. It's been 6 days and I've been editing. Last night I went to bed at 3 a.m. and I shot yesterday, and then I came home and then I edited. I shot with Paulo yesterday.
Yep.
Then I came home and I edited. And I'm obsessed. And as soon as I leave here, I'm going to do stuff with my kids. And when my kids go to bed tonight at 9 o'clock, guess what I'm doing? Editing.
Yeah.
Because I'm obsessed. And I think that's what's going to separate me from the others.
I also think that's why when you're obsessed with something like to that extent, it's why you're good at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're putting detailed, you're putting your heart
effort.
into it. Yeah, your heart
effort.
Into it.
And I think if you do that, naturally, money will come, connections will come, happiness will come. If you're worried about what you don't have, you're fucking up.
And that's guys, it's been the same story in every single person that we've had on here. We've had NBA skills trainers. We've had WNBA skills trainers. We've had college coaches. We've had DJs. We have filmmakers, directors. At the end of the day, they all started somewhere to a point where they've said the same exact thing you said. When we started, money wasn't coming in like that. And we've reached a certain point where we're doing fine now, right? We're getting these gigs. We're getting booked. And it just takes, if you try, Genesis says something that says, if you coming into this thinking you're just going to make money right away or doing it for the money, you're not going to last. And I think that's the same thing you're saying. Like, that's the same exact.
Do it for the love first.
Do it for the love first. And that's going to come.
Yeah,
because people are going to notice your work, especially if it's good.
I agree. I mean, I think your podcast is great, and I think you add value to the podcast world, and I think it's great. And I think it's the same thing that applies to you that applies to us. You just got to keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Right? You just got to keep doing it, keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. And it gets to a point where, like I said earlier, it's drops in the bucket. But eventually, after a few million drops, that bucket starts overflowing, baby. Mm-hmm. And you good.
We hope for it. Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Thank you for hearing this story. We hope you appreciate it. We hope you learned something. We hope it inspired somebody out there to do something that you maybe were afraid to do. Thank you for tuning into That Fire Show. I'm Danny.
No. Fire. No.
We got to put that Miami tang to it.
No, because you keep saying fire. No.
Fire.
F-I.
Well, it is F-I. Well, it's F-I-Y-E.
Yeah, I get it. But it's pronounced fire. There you go. Shout outs to The Fire Show. Shout outs to La Jama TV. And shout outs to my dog, Petey Pablo, in the building.
And if you want to get in contact with with SoFlaa, we're going to put all his stuff in the description box. We'll have his Instagram. We'll have his website, the BST Instagram too. Right.
My OnlyFans as well.
We'll have all his information down there.
Super cheap. It's only 69 cents a month.
So you'll be able to catch him and catch up to him. And if you want to even ask him, like, I think if you want to reach out to him, ask him questions, and I don't think he'll be he's gonna answer you. Like he said, if you show that work ethic, you show that grind, he's willing to help you out in some kind of way.
Oh yeah,
right? And
pay it forward.
And look, I want to thank him also because, like I thank all our guests. You know, they don't have to come on here and tell the story, but we appreciate it because they're taking the time out of their day. This is an hour and a half that he's taking out of his day and his time. He could be doing anything else, but he's came here, dedicated some time, and that's why we appreciate him coming here.
So who do I send the invoice to?
To Paulo.
Okay.
All right. Hey.
Oh, yeah, thank you for having me, brother. I wish you nothing but the best.
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, man, please.
Ya tú sabes. OnlyFans, La Jama.
We're out.